Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me here on Dimensions Photography. If you don't know, my name is Emmanuel, and here every Friday we do a different tip, trick, or tutorial on everything that has to do with photography. And the tutorial that we're going to do today is looking into Lightroom and Photoshop on how to do what is known as Colorsplash or selective color. It's such a fun thing to do, a fun way to edit, and it's super easy and super simple. Alright guys, so if you don't want to miss it, stick around and enjoy. Alright, welcome back for this tutorial of Colorsplash and selective color in Lightroom and Photoshop. So I don't usually do tutorials, but when I do, the whole world is against me and everybody makes noise and my computer turns off and restarts. So this is about the 6th time that I run through it, but let's finally get this done. So what we're going to touch up on today is the editing style of using the Colorsplash or the selective color edit. So basically what that is, I'll explain. Selective color means that you select a single color in an image and you isolate the rest or eliminate the rest of the colors. Also, it's known as Colorsplash because technically you're taking a black and white photo and you're adding color to it, or you're splashing color on it, if you can understand that. Alright, so today, or in Lightroom, what we're going to work on is this image of these limes, these green limes here. So basically what we're going to do is eliminate any other color that's seeping through here. We have a little bit of blues, we have our orange or yellows here, and we're just going to get rid of that. Okay, so there's two ways that we can do this. The first way that I'm going to show you is using the brush here. So first, when you're in Lightroom and you open it up, make sure that you're not in Library, but you are in Develop Module. That way you have all these options and all these adjustments. So we're going to go ahead and use the brush tool, which is this here, the adjustment brush. You can click it or hit the letter K as a short key. Okay, it's going to bring up this brush with the, if you're using a mouse with the roller, you can make the brush bigger or smaller just by rolling up or down. Pretty simple. So basically what we're going to do here, what the brush does is that whatever area that you do brush on, you can adjust the different settings on it. Okay, so in order to explain, I'm going to brush here on the side. So as you saw, the color left here, and the reason is because here I have the saturation button pulled down. Alright, so let's say if I wanted to make that area dark or bright, I would bring the exposure, and you see, that's the area that's affected. Okay, now that we understand that. So basically what I want to do is I want to brush out any area where I don't want color. Make sense? So that means everything but the limes. So when you're selecting here, you don't really see anything. You might want to check this where it says show selected mask overlay, and it shows exactly what you already clicked on. So I'm just going to work around the other side. I'm going to click around everything but the limes, because the limes, I want the colors to stay. Right? So once you have everything selected, nice, how you like it, you go here to the adjustments panel and you go down to saturation. And what saturation does is either if you bring saturation up, it just makes the colors brighter and deeper. It saturates it. If you lower it, it desaturates it, which means it takes the color away or mutes all the color. So here we're going to drop the saturation because we want to take the color away. Then obviously here you can't see any difference, and it's because we have the mask overlay selected. So if I unclick it, now what do you see? All of the color that we had on the outside is eliminated. I'll show you by doing a quick before and after. If you hit the backslash key, it gives you a before and after option. So you see here, and we did that simply by using the adjustment brush. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few quick tips. Let's say you brush out something that you didn't want the color, like this first lemon. This first lime, you took out the color by mistake. So what you can do to bring the color back is you hold Alt and that turns into the minus sign, which means you're taking away any brush adjustment. So that area will not be brushed in anymore. Alright, and you see, we bring it right back. So basically this is the first and main way where you can adjust the or desaturate, right, or do the color splash, the selective color edit, is using the brush tool. As you saw, it was super simple. So I'm going to show you the second way. I'm going to hit done here, and I'm going to reset so this goes back to normal. Okay, then the second way to do this, which is the usual way, or the I guess not easier but somewhat different way. You would go down here to your colors panel. So the colors panel, there's HSL, color, and black and white. What you want to do is make sure that you're in HSL, just because it separates it. So there's hue, saturation, and luminance. You want to go to saturation. Okay, and basically what you want to do is you want to lower the saturation from everything but the green, which we want to stay. So the reds are coming down, the oranges are coming down, the yellows are coming down, the greens are staying, the aquas coming down, the blue, purple, and magenta. And if you had any question of what kind of color is appearing in your image, you can actually check here in the histogram, and it'll let you know which colors are actually working or in the image, even though slightly. Okay, and in which areas, the darkers and the lights. Okay, so basically here we just did the same selective color or color splash effect, and just using the sliders. So if you see here, if I bring the greens down, it desaturates. If I bring it up, it saturates more and becomes a little bit brighter. Okay, pretty simple. So that's how you do it in Lightroom. Those are two ways that I do it in Lightroom. There might be more, but these are the ones that I find easiest and quickest to work with. Alright. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to jump into Photoshop for those of you that do use Photoshop, and we're going to check out how to do that. Okay, so in Photoshop I have this image, this different image. I have just this Coca-Cola can. So first off, when you open up the image, usually the background layer is like this. If you want to unlock it, you just double click, or what I like to do is Control J, and that just opens up another layer with the same image. That way, if you mess up this image, you can fix it and go back. Okay, so once you're here, so there's this very simple and dirty way of doing it, and that's when you go to your adjustments panel, which is up here. If for whatever reason you don't have the adjustment panel open or you can't find it, you go to your Windows tab and adjustments, and click adjustments, and it'll appear somewhere on your screen. Okay. So you can go here, there's one adjustment, which is this bar, this little square thing, and it says hue and saturation. Okay, and if you don't want to use it here, you can also go down to your black and white cookie, click, and there's hue and saturation again. It's the same. So you click that. So what this does is that this affects the hue, which is the color. Alright, and the saturation, which is the color, the strength of the color. Okay, so what we want to do with this is that we actually want to bring it all the way down to 0, because we want a black and white image. So we just converted this to black and white, so there's no color here per se. Okay, so then how do we bring the color back? Alright, as you see here right next to it, this has a layer mask, which is this white square. So basically the white indicates that this hue saturation layer is affecting all of the area. Everything in white means all of it. So if this were all to be black, it would not be affecting. So if you hit Control I, inverse, you see how now this is all black? That means that nothing is being affected on the image. Control I again, everything's being affected. So what does this mean? This means that you can add this layer onto any part of the image that you want. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, since we want to get the red back into the Coca-Cola can, what we're going to do is we're going to brush in with black the color. Okay, so make sure that you have your colors set. You hit B for brush, or this right here, just the regular brush tool. And what we're going to do is make sure that you have black selected, not white. So you can either hit here to inverse it, or you can hit X and it switches it up. So we're going to use black, and if you see, I'm going to start painting in with black, and what that's doing is that it's taking away the hue saturation layer, which made it black and white in the first place. Okay, and then you just paint it in the areas that you want, and boom, you have your original image exactly as it was, except with no color on the outside and just your red can. Okay, let me get down here, get this color. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do it using the hue saturation layer. I'm going to show you another way, which is pretty much the same thing. It just depends on the complexity of the image that you have. So I'm going to delete this layer here. So what I would do is, instead of just brushing in the color, you can use the quick selection tool or the magic wand. I like using the quick selection tool, and what that does is you're able to select the area that you want to affect with any layer adjustment. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just selecting the can because the can is the only part that I want to affect in this image. Okay, so once you have this selected, right, I have this selected. So what I'm going to do is, it's just easier to select the can, I think, instead of the outside. I could be wrong. But what we want to actually affect is not the can, but on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control and Shift and press I, and that's going to inverse the selection. Now it's selecting everything on the outside. You can do the same by also going to Image, where is it? Select. When you're in Select and you go to Inverse, it does the same thing. It is holding Control Shift and I. Okay, so then now when we're here, then we're going to basically do the same thing. We're going to hit the hue saturation, or the same by going to the black and white cookie. You click hue and saturation, and then you bring saturation down. And what that's doing is it's affecting, you see here, only the outside area, not the inside of the can. So the can stays perfectly red, exactly how you want it. Okay, and let's say if you did do a selection, but it didn't come out perfect how you wanted it, then the same. Go back to your brush tool, come back in with black, and then paint in any area that you wanted. Maybe like this highlight here on the bottom, and then boom, you have yourself a nicely color splashed image. Alright guys, so this is basically how you do it using Lightroom and Photoshop. Alright guys, so as you can see, there's definitely many ways where you can do the color splash or the selective color effect using Lightroom and also Photoshop. And it's such a fun thing to do. It's very popular. And depending on the type of pictures that you have, you can really get some cool and interesting results. And some very great photography. Alright guys, so if you do have any other ways that you know how to do selective color or to do the color splash effect, then let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Maybe I missed something. I'm still fairly new at everything, but as I'm learning, I'm also sharing with you guys. Alright, so if you did like this video and its content, then I want you to go ahead and give it a like. If you haven't subscribed already, I recommend that you do. That way you can continue to be notified every Friday when we do a different tip, trick, and tutorial. Alright guys, and definitely leave a comment below of any other style that you do like, or maybe any other type of tutorial that you would like to look into, and then that way we can definitely have that set up on this video. Alright, so this is Emmanuel from Dimensions Photography, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Remember, keep shooting, keep sharing, and keep smiling. I will snap at you later.